Is it really true that JIN is not in good condition? This single question has been echoing across social media and inside the hearts of armies worldwide after a moment in Los Angeles shook the fandom to its core. A short video, taken casually at the airport, seemed harmless at first, but what it revealed quickly turned into a storm of speculation. JIN, who had just landed after completing a grueling tour, appeared different. Unlike his usual charismatic presence, this time he looked pale, exhausted, and moved with noticeably slower steps. Fans immediately sensed something was off. His normally radiant smile was missing, and instead, his expression seemed drained. It didn't take long for the video to go viral, with thousands of comments piling up within minutes. "This is not the JIN we know," one user wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Another added, "He looks so weak. I can't believe this is him." What should have been a simple airport arrival suddenly turned into one of the hottest topics in entertainment news. The sight of JIN looking fragile was enough to spark panic, but the situation escalated when Taehyung, who was also in Los Angeles, reportedly made a statement that ignited even greater anxiety. Taehyung's words were brief, but their weight was heavy. "There's something everyone needs to know. JIN really needs serious attention right now." Though he did not go into detail, the ambiguity of his comment shook the entire fandom. Why would Taehyung, someone known for protecting the privacy of his members, say something like this if it wasn't important? Fans began to speculate wildly. Some believed it was just exhaustion from the endless schedule. Others feared it could be something more serious, an illness or diagnosis hidden behind the scenes. What added fuel to the fire was Jungkook's emotional response. Eyewitnesses described seeing him panic as soon as he heard Taehyung's words. Reports claimed his eyes welled up with tears, and at one point he nearly broke down in public. He immediately stopped what he was doing and ran toward JIN's location. "It was a heartbreaking sight," said one fan who claimed to be at the scene. These descriptions painted a dramatic picture. Jungkook, usually composed and strong, unable to hold back his emotions. To many fans, this reaction was proof that JIN's condition was worse than what anyone dared to admit. After all, why would Jungkook cry in public if the issue was only fatigue? But then came the silence from HYB, the agency that manages BTS. Their only response was a short statement saying JIN was resting and under medical supervision. To armies, this sounded too diplomatic, too vague, as if the company was carefully avoiding the truth. If it was only exhaustion, why not simply say so? The unclear wording only made things worse. Media outlets, both in Korea and internationally, rushed to investigate. Some reported that JIN's health troubles were linked to prolonged exhaustion from overwork, while others hinted at the possibility of something far more serious. Taehyung's phrase, "needs serious attention," echoed like a warning bell. Fans could not dismiss it, and soon the entire world seemed to be watching Los Angeles, waiting for more news. Meanwhile, armies poured their hearts out online. Millions of messages of love, prayers, and hope flooded social media. Fans reminisced about how JIN had always smiled through hardships, protecting others with his cheerful demeanor. "Now it feels like all those smiles were hiding his pain," one large fan account wrote. "He always protected us with his laughter, but now it's our turn to protect him." But amid the storm of worry, another perspective began to emerge, one that questioned whether the panic was built more on speculation than fact. As the days passed, inconsistencies began to surface. Firstly, the videos and photos from the airport, though real, may not tell the full story. JIN had just stepped off a long-haul flight after a packed tour schedule. Health experts explained that such circumstances can easily leave anyone looking pale, dehydrated, or exhausted. Jet lag, time zone changes, and lack of sleep could all contribute to his appearance. What fans interpreted as a sign of illness may have simply been the toll of travel. Secondly, Taehyung's supposed statement about JIN needing serious attention lacked any credible evidence. There was no official recording, no verified video, nothing but claims from anonymous sources on social media. Without proof, the words remained hearsay at best. Yet because the story was repeated so many times online, it began to sound like truth. Thirdly, Jungkook's alleged tears also turned out to be shaky in credibility. The circulating video only showed him with a serious expression, not crying. Some accounts exaggerated his demeanor, describing it as panic, when in reality it could have been nothing more than concern or focus. Once again, narrative framing made the moment seem more dramatic than it might have been. Fourthly, HYB's official statement was intentionally cautious but not alarming. They mentioned JIN was resting under medical supervision, something very normal for idols returning from intense schedules. If the situation had truly been critical, it's unlikely HYB would risk hiding it. A company as large and globally watched as HYB knows the backlash of withholding life-threatening truths. Finally, the spread of this rumor followed a familiar pattern. It started with a short clip, gained traction through anonymous witnesses, was fueled by emotional fan posts, and then amplified by media looking for clicks. This echo chamber effect has happened before with BTS, small details being blown out of proportion until they look like breaking news. The truth, after all this noise, seemed much simpler. JIN was exhausted, not critically ill. Taehyung never made a shocking public statement, and Jungkook was never caught crying in public. The panic that spread across ARMY was not grounded in verified facts but in the emotional storytelling of social media. Still, the incident revealed something powerful: the immense love ARMYs hold for their idols. Fans reacted not out of malice, but out of genuine concern. The thought of JIN's suffering was unbearable, and so their worry translated into endless prayers, messages, and yes, even wild theories. But as touching as this devotion is, it also highlights the dangers of misinformation. Rumors like these can harm not only the mental health of the artists themselves but also the well-being of the fans. Imagine JIN, Taehyung, or Jungkook scrolling through headlines about illnesses they don't even have. The pressure, guilt, and unnecessary stress could be overwhelming. That is why this episode leaves a moral lesson for everyone: verify before believing, and wait for official news before spreading speculation. Dramatic headlines may attract attention, but they can also create unnecessary chaos. In the end, what ARMYs must remember is that BTS members are human. They get tired, they have bad days, and sometimes their faces show exhaustion after long travels. That doesn't mean disaster is looming. Trusting that they are surrounded by professional medical care and a strong support system is far healthier than falling into panic. So now, as the dust settles, it is clear, the viral story about JIN's fragile health was largely built on exaggeration and interpretation. He remains stable, Taehyung never issued a dramatic warning, and Jungkook continues with his usual activities.